Let me make something clear. I have a difficult relationship with remakes and remasters, because on the one hand, they offer a great opportunity to experience the games of the past with updated graphics, controls, and other quality of life improvements. On the other, how about the studios focus more on telling new stories and finding new ways to excite the players, instead of banking on the nostalgia of a loyal fanbase?
Where's everyone going? Bingo?
It's because of this internal conflict that I was somewhat skeptical about the Resident Evil 4 remake, which turned out to be one of the best remakes that I have seen in quite some time. Resident Evil 4 Remake is a perfect example of how a good foundation allows the developers to keep using the same idea over and over again. We've seen it first in Resident Evil Village, and now it all went full circle to the fourth game. If anything, the remake is a testament to how good the original Resident Evil 4 was, and still is to this day, as not only has it influenced the future Resident Evil games and the entire industry, but also managed to stay relevant, despite being nearly 2 decades old. I still need to process the fact that I was 8 when Resident Evil 4 came out. Let me tell you, time flies, my friends. Time flies. There's a belief that remakes and remasters personify the rose-tinted memories of our favorite childhood games, because in our minds, they look, sound and feel a lot better than they actually were. In the case of the Resident Evil 4 remake, we get exactly that. An almost perfect recreation of the original game, with a brand new coat of paint. Honestly, I thought that a remake in 4 was not really necessary, as it still holds up well despite its advanced age. But if it is a remake with this much attention to detail and care, then what can be said against it? I don't remember when was the last time that I've had so much fun with a game that I played it for 2 days straight, until the final credits rolled. RE4 has once again occupied my mind, and rekindled the memories of the years long gone.
Alright.
When playing through the remake, it felt as I was going through Resident Evil 4 The Greatest Hits, as every memorable moment, every grueling boss fight, were happening so fast that it seemed that the developers streamlined the game by cutting some segments short in order to keep the player's pulses racing at all times. And perhaps this is true, and indeed the remake was sculpted in a way to make things more exciting. Maybe it's my memory failing me, but I don't remember the lake monster battle, the first El Gigante encounter, and the barn fight with Mendes happening so early in the game. And this is not a bad thing by any means, as the Resident Evil 4 remake still has enough content to last anywhere from 13 to 20 hours, depending on your playstyle. What I'm talking about are my personal memories of how the original game played, and this doesn't take away anything from the quality of the remake. On the contrary, I was happy that I didn't drag on for too long in the early stages, and that almost every one of the 16 chapters took roughly an hour or so to complete. For comparison, I beat the original in about 20 hours, so I can assure you that none of the important stuff was cut from the remake. The game starts exactly how you would expect. A very slow build-up with Leon S. Kennedy entering a village in the mountainous area of Spain, looking for Ashley Graham, the kidnapped daughter of the United States President. Then things take a turn or two, and the rescue mission turns into an all-out war against an evil cult known as the Los Illuminados, with shadows from the past haunting Leon along the way. In terms of the story, things haven't changed much from the original Resident Evil 4, apart from a few tweaks here and there, with some dialogue and scene updates. So if you've played the original, you know exactly what's going to happen, and every location will spark many memories. It might have been quite some time since I last played the original RE4, but all it took was to catch a glimpse of the village, and it all came back to me. I knew by the outline that this is the lake where I'll fight the monster. This is the area where I'll face up with El Gigante. This is the clock tower with the Salazar fight. And this is the maze that Mr. Krauser has made to make my life miserable. For veterans of the series, muscle memory will definitely be helpful, as the core layouts have mostly stayed the same, and then it's just a matter of remembering where to go and what to do. Even some of the puzzles felt very familiar, though I am not 100% sure that they are identical to the original game. Weapon customization via the merchant, the shooting range, the hunt for treasures and gems are back with additional tasks that you can perform to obtain a special currency that allows you to buy exclusive items. Resident Evil 4 is already a dream game for every collectathon enthusiast, but the remake takes this concept even further. I am personally not a fan of vacuum cleaning every level in most games, so by the end of the RE4 remake, I have completed around 55 out of the 100 plus challenges. If you're into these kind of things, you'll certainly get your money's worth with this game.
But sometimes things are more interesting if you keep a level playing field, don't you find?
What I really liked is how almost every major character in the remake was portrayed. Even the more annoying figures like Ashley have become much more pleasant to deal with. The corny one-liners are still here, apart from a few suggestive ones like the infamous Good Ballistics remark.
Hey, I see you found your missing señorita.
Señorita has a name and it's Ashley. You are?
Name's Luis. Encantado.
Great. We all have names.
All of the characters' personalities are way more defined, and their backstories are better explained than in the original, partially thanks to having more screen time. Additional praise goes to the casting choice both for the models and for the voice actors. Every line, every emotion is spot on. And once again, for the first time ever, I actually wanted to save Ashley, every time she got carried away by the enemies. I mean, if you know, you know. Whether you like her character or not, one thing is for sure, whoever is responsible for the casting in the latest Resident Evil games sure has good taste in women. Being an almost one-to-one recreation of the original does come with its own issues. The main being the last couple of chapters with their over-reliance on action, putting you up against basically a small army, where at some point you start feeling like Jon Snow in that Winterfell battle scene, when in the span of 20 minutes you would have killed more enemies than in almost the entire game prior, and all you want is just a little breather. Even Leon himself gets so tired of this shit that he constantly says "give me a break" during these chapters.
Give me a break already.
I understand that this happened in the original too, but it seems that with the new technology at their disposal, the developers somehow managed to make the most tiring section of the game even more tiring, by throwing so many enemies that I for a second forgot that I was playing Resident Evil, and had a feeling that this is a clunky third-person Left 4 Dead clone. Some of the boss fights have also been reworked, and will probably be a topic of debate amongst the fans, as it's clear that with the updated controls, the old encounters would be too easy, but at the same time, aiming still felt very stiff on the console, making it a pain in the ass dealing with the quicker enemy types, like the bastard Salazar, who took me about 10 tries to get through. It's a weird case when the game definitely feels more natural on PC than a console, as you can aim a lot better with a mouse than a controller. Maybe it's my shooter rust doing the talking, or this is indeed the case. Let me know in the comments how the shooting in the RE4 remake felt to you. And let's not forget that Resident Evil 4 is partially responsible for some of the worst escort missions in modern gaming. I have to give credit where it's due. The developers really did their best to make the sections where you have to take care of Ashley less tedious, but a couple of them still forced a reset or two for me. Resident Evil 4 Remake encapsulates every aspect of the original, be it the good or the bad things, while adding many quality of life improvements that make the overall experience even better. Due to the original Resident Evil 4 being such a great game, it is hard to tell if the remake feels so good because it is an awesome game on its own, or because it is an almost frame-to-frame recreation of the 2005 title. To me, the answer lies somewhere in the middle. The remake took everything that was great about the original game, added its own twist in some sections, and then mixed everything together to become a familiar game that at the same time manages to feel new. Capcom have really set the bar not just for themselves, but also for the entire gaming industry when it comes to re-releases. Unnecessary or not, but I can't deny that Resident Evil 4 Remake is an excellent game, that offers great experience for both newcomers and experienced players alike. Did you get to play the Resident Evil 4 remake? Let me know in the comments and we'll discuss why it's great, or maybe not so great. Because at the end of the day, we're all entitled to our own opinions, and I'm always happy to talk to you. Thank you very much for watching. If you enjoyed the content, be sure to like, comment and subscribe. Take care, have a great day, and remember, only play games that are worth your time. See you in the next one. Bye.